It goes without saying that height is a huge factor in both getting to the NBA and having success once you're there, with a league-wide average of 6'7". In today's game, we follow potential NBA talent as soon as middle school and concentrate our interest on guys that are on pace to have an NBA frame. However, sometimes we see players come out of nowhere with newfound height that take advantage and go on to dominate the NBA. In today's video, we're going to look at 10 stars that had crazy growth spurts. So if you guys like my content, make sure you like and subscribe, and let's hop into it. After becoming an 8-time All-Star, 8-time member of the All-NBA teams, 2-time scoring champion, and most valuable player in 2017, we all know who Russell Westbrook is now. However, unlike most NBA stars, Westbrook was an unknown for most of his high school career. He started high school at just 5'8", but his size 14 shoe might have been a precursor to his future height. It wasn't until he was a junior, standing at 5'10", that he was able to make the varsity team, but even at this time, he couldn't even dunk. Everything would come together in the following summer when he sprouted up to NBA size at 6'3" and had an amazing senior season, getting 25 points and 8 rebounds a game, finally landing him scholarship offers, including his future school of UCLA. His freshman season, he still wasn't very well known, getting just 3.4 points a game, but it was during his sophomore year where he'd make the jump to the national stage with his high-flying athleticism and scoring 13 points and 4 assists a game, shooting 47% from the field and 34% from 3. After this season, he would go to the 2008 draft, where the Seattle Supersonics, now known as the Oklahoma City Thunder, selected him with the 4th overall pick. As we know now, Westbrook would go on to have an amazing career to this day, getting 23 points, over 8 assists, and 7 rebounds. It's safe to say his summer growth spurt had an amazing effect on his future. David Robinson is one of the greatest centers to touch an NBA court, racking up 10 All-Star appearances, 2 NBA titles, and most valuable player in 1995. While we know Robinson as a 7'1" giant, he began his junior year of high school at just 5'9" and had never played organized basketball in his life. By the time his senior year came around, he was now 6'6" and joined his high school basketball team, where despite a solid performance, it wasn't garnering much interest from college teams. Robinson wasn't just good on the court, as he got a 1320 on the SAT and decided to go to the United States Naval Academy. By the start of his freshman season, he was now 6'9" and would go up to over 7 foot throughout his 4-year career, where he averaged 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks a game. Just 5 years into playing basketball, Robinson became the #1 pick in the 1987 draft to the San Antonio Spurs. After college, Robinson was obligated to serve 2 years in the United States Navy, which is where he gets the nickname Admiral, despite only reaching the rank of lieutenant. While Robinson could have actually entered the draft again in 1989, he decided to stay with the Spurs, where he had an amazing 14-year career, averaging 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks a game. We now know CJ McCollum as one of the best shooting guards in the league and former most improved player of the year, but McCollum was a beneficiary of a late growth spurt as he entered high school at just 5'2". He gained 5 inches ahead of his sophomore season and another 4 before his junior year. In the first game of his junior season, McCollum would go off for 54 points, which started to give him some college traction. In his senior season, he would average 29.3 points, but would finish as an unranked prospect, but managed to get an offer from Lehigh University. He made his presence known quick, getting 19 points on amazing efficiency in his freshman season, and would have a 4-year career averaging 24 points a game, but his most notable college achievement was leading his team past the 2nd-seeded Duke Blue Devils in the NCAA tournament. He would then become the 10th overall pick to the Portland Trail Blazers in the 2013 draft, and despite a slow start in his NBA career, would break out in his 3rd season, and ever since has been a 20+ per game scorer every year. Scottie Pippen is most known for being the partner in crime to Michael Jordan, making 7 All-Star appearances and winning 6 titles, but for most of Pippen's early life, it didn't look like the NBA was in the cards. He finished high school at just 6'1" and had very little college attention. He ended up getting an offer from a small school in the NAIA, the University of Central Arkansas. Throughout his career there, he surprisingly jumped up to 6'8", and during his senior season was getting 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists a game. This got the attention of the NBA, and he became the 5th overall pick in the 1987 draft to the Seattle Supersonics, but was traded on draft night to the Chicago Bulls. Over his 17-year career, Pippen would average 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists a game. Anthony Davis is one of the best players in the NBA, as he's already made 6 All-Star appearances at just 26 years old. While he finished high school as the #1 ranked player in the country, he started as just a 6'1" point guard. His guard skill set would play a major role in his success down the road. By the start of his sophomore season, he was still standing at 6'1", but would jump up to 6'8" as a junior, and as a 6'10" senior, would average 32 points, 22 rebounds, and 7 blocks a game. He would then go on to Kentucky, where he had an historic freshman season, getting 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 blocks. This made him the clear #1 pick, and in the 2012 draft would land in the hands of the New Orleans Pelicans. On his career so far, he's averaged 24 points, 10 rebounds, and over 2 blocks a game. Dennis Rodman is known for being one of the best rebounders and defenders to touch the NBA court, but had one of the most interesting paths to the NBA that featured an insane growth spurt. Basketball wasn't a part of Rodman's early life, as he graduated high school at just 5'6". While working as a janitor at Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, Rodman would sprout up to 6'8", a growth spurt of 1'2". The word got around and he attended Cook County College, where in the first half of the season would average 17 points and 13 rebounds, but would flunk out due to bad grades. He would then go on to Southeastern Oklahoma State, where he would average 26 points and 16 rebounds in 3 seasons. This was enough for Rodman to become the 27th pick in the second round in the 1986 draft to the Detroit Pistons. He would have an incredible NBA career, bringing home 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, 5 NBA titles, averaging 7 points and 13 rebounds a game. In his prime, Dwight Howard was one of the most dominant centers we've ever seen, but at the age of 15, he was just 5'8". From the age 15 to 16, he would go up to 6'9". In his senior season, Howard would average 25 points, 18 rebounds, and 8 blocks a game. He then decided to go straight from high school to the NBA, where he was the first overall pick in the 2004 draft to the Orlando Magic. By his 3rd season, Howard was getting 18 points and 12 rebounds. Over his 16-year career, he would become an 8-time All-Star, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, and is currently a role player on a competing team in the Los Angeles Lakers. While he hasn't become an NBA star just yet, he's the most recent #1 overall pick, so we're still going to include Zion Williamson. From the end of Zion's 8th grade year to the start of his sophomore season, he went from a small 5'9" to 6'7", 285 pounds. That year, he would average 28 points and 10 rebounds, and by his senior season at Spartanburg Day, he was getting an insane 36 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists a game. He would graduate as a second-ranked player in the country and decided to join the other top 3 recruits at Duke University. Here, he'd have an historic freshman season, getting 24 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 steals, shooting 68% from the field and 34% from 3. His dominant college performance and athleticism like we've never seen at someone of that size, he became the #1 overall pick in the 2019 draft to the New Orleans Pelicans and is yet to make his long-awaited NBA debut. Before Tim Duncan would become one of the best power forwards of all time, he was just a 6'3", 17-year-old, and one year, he would go to a towering 6'11". After high school, he would go to Wake Forest University, where he got just 10 points in his freshman season. By the time he was a senior, he was getting 21 points, 15 rebounds, and over 3 blocks a game. He would then become the #1 overall pick to the San Antonio Spurs in the 1997 NBA draft. As a rookie, Duncan would bring home Rookie of the Year in his first NBA title, getting 21 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 blocks a game. Over his career, he won 5 NBA championships, 2 MVPs, and made 15 All-Star appearances. Lastly, we have arguably the best player to touch the court in Michael Jordan, but before his NBA dominance, he was just a 5'10" sophomore with no reason to think a massive growth spurt was coming, as his dad was just 5'9" and his mom was just 5'5". But luckily for Jordan, he would jump to 6'3" in his junior season and was 6'6" by the time he graduated high school. He then went to North Carolina, where he had an amazing 3-year career, averaging 18 points and took home an NCAA title in 1982. He then went to the 1984 draft, where he became the 3rd overall pick to the Chicago Bulls, and y'all know what happens after that. He becomes a 14-time All-Star, 5-time MVP, and won 6 titles where he won Finals MVP in all of them. As you can see, some of the NBA's best talent have been the beneficiary of a massive growth spurt, and there actually might be a correlation there. When someone grows up not knowing that they're going to be 6'10", they train for their expected height and position, and then when they suddenly sprout up, you're pushing 7 foot with a guard-like skill set. Height is something that the NBA community likes to speculate. We see rumors all the time that someone's had a growth spurt in the NBA, such as Ben Simmons growing to 7 foot, or that Kevin Durant was much taller than his listed 6'9". This season, we got confirmation of all these height suspicions, as the NBA made teams report official height and weight ahead of this season. Some of those notable changes were Durant going from 6'9" to 6'10", Derrick Rose going down from 6'3" to 6'1", Draymond Green going from 6'7" to 6'5", Dwight Howard going from 6'11" to 6'9", and Marvin Bagley going down to 6'8". Now, height isn't necessary to succeed in the NBA. We've seen some great sub-6 foot players such as Muggsy Bogues at 5'3", Spud Webb at 5'7", and Isaiah Thomas at 5'9", but it sure as hell helps. With all that being said, that's the end video, guys. You guys tell me your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe. And the shoutouts are gonna be Grady, Victor, Seth, Jimmo, and IT. If you guys want to shout out on the next video, all you gotta do is like the video and comment liked, and I'll shout 5 of you guys out. With all that being said, hope you guys have a great day, and peace.